All right, here we go. Diving back into it now. It's rivalry week. I know that because Nick Hopwood is dressed and ready to go. He's showing team spirit today. We're going to talk about politics, but, you know, it's rivalry week, and that's important. Nick, welcome to the program. Look at that. Charles Woodson. Best punt return in the history of the game. I mean, just the best punt return in the history of the game. Yeah, there you go. Michigan and Ohio State. How you doing, Nick?
Yeah, maybe I should have my 97 Aiden Hutchinson jersey on instead. Who will be starring on Thursday on Thanksgiving at 12:30?
Yeah, he will. I just checked the line from the Columbus Dispatch. That's the newspaper in Columbus, Ohio. Buckeyes 2 touchdown favorites. I would say that the Wolverines will cover. I would say that for sure. And look, the Wolverines were big underdogs last year too. How'd that work out for the Buckeyes? 13-10, as I recall.
Yeah, Steve, I think that was the largest spread in the history of the game, and Michigan came into Columbus and held them to 10 points. So, for 25 years in this business, you get pretty good at spotting trends. And we have a pretty good trend going right now, 4 straight against Ohio State. So my prediction is the trend will continue 27-24, the 5th in a row.
27-24, I'm going to write that down. I like that. And the other trend is this, if you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago, does Michigan stand a chance? I would have said no, because they're not playing well at all, and that Northwestern game was just horrid. But last Saturday, they played pretty well. And so I would, look, everything's on the field for this one, right? Everything.
It is. It's bragging rights for a year. It's the game. It's the best rivalry in all of sports, and I'll be there on Saturday.
Attaboy, you got good seats? So just out of curiosity, when I was a kid, you could get a seat, at a reasonable price, but like all sporting events, this stuff goes through the roof. What's a ticket go for? Not your ticket. What's a ticket go for? Somebody just wanted to get in the stadium. Can you get a ticket for $100?
No. I just looked it up last night, in fact, and I think you can get in for about $350.
$350, the cheapest ticket.
It's not too bad considering it's the biggest game of the year.
Well, and considering it's almost Black Friday, for $350 you can get yourself a 65-inch TV and watch it in living color at home. There is that,
I want to know how much of this Ivy watch that we're hearing about.
Well, we're working on it. See, it's the Ivy watch, because we got all these folks on the streaming that say, "Where's Ivy? Where's Ivy?" So they've nicknamed it Ivy Watch, and so Brock said, you should just make an Ivy watch. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so some areas of the market, and I saw you post this online, bloodletting in the market. You said those are bad investments. The losers are getting weeded out, basically, and the strong companies are sticking in. But the NVIDIA thing has me and everybody here in the office confused. NVIDIA posts these great earnings and promptly goes down $20 a share or whatever. Why?
Well, that was a strong reversal. So they have blowout earnings above expectations. The market opens, it gaps up higher 1%, and then closes the day minus 1%. It's classic sign of buyer exhaustion, signal reversal. So basically, we need to be aware of how much risk we have in the portfolios. Over the last few weeks, we have Bitcoin down 33%, Oracle down 40%, Palantir minus 30%, Meta 27%. You get the idea. So some of the biggest names are down, a third. And then we have all of these lower tier names, which are down even more. Meanwhile, the S&P is only down 3%. So when you are evaluating your risk tolerance and you're getting stopped out right now, think about where you're putting the money and what quality you're reaching for. When we have a minus 3% drawdown on the S&P, it's not the end of the world. It happens all the time. And if you're getting panicky, you need to reevaluate your risk tolerance.
Well, there you go. All right, so one cryptocurrency had a big surge yesterday and overnight, XRP. XRP keeps getting picked up by people, like Franklin Templeton's XRP ETF US launch, Bitwise's XRP ETF launch, pushed XRP, decoupled from Bitcoin. All of these cryptocurrencies, to me, it's confusing. I just happen to notice that because I have a cousin who has a lot of XRP, and he's been saying, "Are you going to get XRP?" I'm like, but it is moving in the right direction. Go ahead,
Steve. I think you know more about XRP than I do. I follow Bitcoin as my crypto proxy.
Yeah.
And when it's down 1/3, okay, now it starts getting interesting. So I'm watching that closely, waiting for that buy zone to
Well, yeah,
approach.
'cause at some point, because it's done this before, it did this a year ago. It went down to like 60,000 a coin, and then it rocketed to 125 over a few weeks, right? So we'll see. I get whiplash. Long term, Nick, that's my strategy, long term. So how about Robinhood, Schwab, Fidelity? You wanted me to ask you about this and explain why, because these are three places that you can go and you can trade on your app and do things, right?
Yeah. So young people say, my app. It's not an app. It's a brokerage firm. Okay. This is a custodian that holds trillions of
Hey,
dollars.
you just called me a young person. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Go
Of
on.
course. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. So look, Fidelity, Schwab, 10, 15 trillion dollars in assets under management. Robinhood, 300 billion, which is nothing to sneeze at, right? 300 billion is a lot of money. Here's where I have a public service announcement or a complaint is customer service. If you have a problem logging into Fidelity or Schwab, you can call 1-800-FIDELITY, 1-800-SCHWAB. Robinhood simply does not have a phone number. You have to do a text chat, you send an email. If you can't get in, your money's locked up and you're at their mercy of when they decide to call you. And I hope that you don't have do not disturb on at that moment because you could miss your chance. There's anecdotal tales of this all across the internet, and my heart goes out to these guys. And so it's just a little public service announcement, making sure that you can access your money when you need it.
All right. So let's see here. The Wall Street Journal reporting forgotten 401ks costing employees billions of dollars. Why?
Yeah, the story here is interesting because the new rules for 401ks, for a new hire, they force you into the 401k plan participation, which
Yeah.
I don't think is bad because I think everyone needs to save a little more. But when you move jobs around a lot and you accumulate a couple $1,000s in that 401k, then you leave your job. That 401k plan can offload that money into an IRA, and then you lose track of it. And so now the Wall Street Journal is doing some reporting that this is adding up to billions of dollars a year, and an unknown percentage of that is getting escheated to the state when people are not logging in. They move. The brokerage statements are getting sent back to the custodian, and then the brokerage firm turns the money over to the state. It's a nightmare.
What a nightmare. All right. And it's also your last chance for a Roth conversion before the end of the year. Put up the QR code. If you want to know more about that, get a hold of Nick directly. Nick Hopwood, Peak Wealth Management, peakwm.com if you want to go that way. QR code's the easy way to go. And one last thing, go blue. That's what I say.
Blue.
Go blue. Nick Hopwood, big smile. He'll be there at the game. I'll be looking for you, Nick. Have a good time.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. There you have it. 2 touchdown dogs. Come on. Who does this? Of course, Ohio State looks like they could beat a professional football team any given Saturday, but this isn't any given Saturday. It's rivalry week. We'll be back.